Hey, welcome to I Love a Good Story, and with me I have Gary Stockdale. Wonderful, the wizardry of Gary Stockdale.
Thank you.
Musician, singer, songwriter, original music. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. This was fun.
I'm so happy. I have to look at my watch just because I just got it. No. I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for gracing us with an interview.
Oh, I loved it.
You're wonderful. We just heard you on the podcast. In fact, I want to say that the song about love, I choked. It put you in tears.
Thank you.
Yeah, you sing from your heart. So my first question is that where you write from?
I don't know where I write from. Like anybody else who's a writer, I get an idea and I write it, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. There's, a little ash heap of songs that never worked and that are someplace, but luckily the majority of them do, so I can actually perform them with a small modicum of embarrassment, not huge.
Do you ever go back to songs that you wrote or glance over and pick them up and make them into a song?
Yes, absolutely. And there's some songs that I have performed that I still go, it's not right yet, so I go and visit it every once in a while and do something new to it. And a couple of those have improved over time, like wine.
Wow, so gestation of a song.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to ask you what you wanted to be when you were a kid. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I think that I took piano lessons from the age of 4, and I think I always wanted to be something in showbiz. I think, it doesn't speak much for my depth as a human being, but I think I always wanted to perform music, or I wanted to be an actor at one point, but when I went to college, they found out I could play the piano, so I wound up in the pit music directing shows, and so I learned about musical theater, and then learned about, rock and roll, playing in bands, being the only white guy in ghetto bands down in Compton.
Wow.
So
did you learn theory right off the bat, or did you play by ear? How did you first learn to read music?
I had a great piano teacher who taught me theory along with memorization. So I really had a backing it. And then when the Beatles came out, I gave up piano and started playing guitar. And so then I took back piano up when I went to college and took harmony and counterpoint and all that stuff, just enough to be able to guarantee that was going to be that I wouldn't fall back on some other career. That's the career that if I would have had another career to fall back on, I'm sure with the rough times I would have fallen back.
Wow. And when you went to college, did you go to college to get a degree, or did you go to college to study music?
Well, like I said, I went to LA City College here in town, and I wanted to be an actor and director, but then I wound up in the pit music directing and writing musicals, and so I realized music was grabbing me, and so I stayed with that, and then I did their music program there, and then I just started working in the business. Eventually, I ghost wrote for Lalo Schifrin for a while.
I used to cut his hair years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well, I
Lalo
love Lalo.
Schifrin, yeah.
Just give me a little of the side, Lori. Don't make it too short.
Don't make it too short. Wow.
And I got to know Henry Mancini very well, and so because I lived with his daughter for a while, who's a fabulous person, Felice Mancini, who runs the Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation that puts instruments in the hands of poor kids.
That is fantastic.
But I got to know him, so I've been lucky enough to see some of the greats, and I try to steal from them as much as I possibly can.
And you give so graciously of your work. You play everywhere. I see you. I get things in my email. You're all over town. You probably, how many nights a week do you figure that you're out there?
Well, not as many now. I'm really, for a while I was playing everywhere just to make sure my name was out there and to, get the experience. Because I basically went from being mostly a studio guy, mostly a guy who writes for hire, who does session singing for different vocal stuff for commercials and for films. And the last few years I just decided to make my attack run at the Battlestar. And I'm just singing my own songs and learning how one makes money doing that, and it's actually been quite wonderful. I mean, I'm finding out all the places. There's some great friends of mine, Eric Schwartz, who've been doing this for many years, and Tracy Newman, and so I've kind of followed in their footsteps at the same time, and they've been a great inspiration. And just there is a market for people who actually sing and play and do their own music out there, and that's what I'm in the middle of right now.
I was going to say, so if our musicians are out there watching you right now, and they say, "Can you give me something, Gary, that tells me not to burn my guitar or just say forget it?" What? And I'm just at a loss. Like, just any advice for an upcoming, or not even an upcoming musician, somebody that's been around for a long time and is just wondering, should I just throw it in?
This is a really jerky answer, and I apologize for it ahead of time. But if you can not do it, don't. One should never do this unless they just either have no other skill like myself, or if you because there's so many easier ways to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to do this because it's either the only thing that you do, or you just love the heck out of it, or both.
Yeah, well, that's a great answer. That's really a great answer. Well, I want to thank you. This is short and sweet, and I really can't wait until you come back. Will you come back?
Anytime you want. Anytime. Laurie Fraser is great, and she's given a lot of people a chance to express their voice and be heard, and I appreciate it very much.
Well, listen, I am a fan, a big, big fan of everybody that you mentioned, and you are wonderful. And your daughter was wonderful. Your daughter sang with us, and she's terrific too. So I just appreciate your amazing talent and coming here and sharing it with the world through I Love a Good Story. Thank you so
Laurie.
much. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
See you later.